Howdy fellow skeptics, Lester the Skeptic Tank here. Over the last few days, I've been working on my computer restoration as I explained in my most recent video. I did have to do two Nuke Paves. First one involved the attempt to use Slackware current. I, however, had to default back to Slackware 15.0. The only thing I didn't update is the kernel. Realizing the number sequencing didn't indicate I needed to be on the most up-to-date kernel. Most of the hardware I run is not exactly requiring that. So you're seeing here a different wallpaper than stock. I find this pretty cool. I downloaded some others. I haven't updated my customization quite yet, but just a rundown of where I've been. As I mentioned, I need to do a better job of tracking things, so I started doing that. One of the things I do appreciate about Linux and many of the distributions, they attempt to give a full suite of things out of the box. I don't know if that was that way in the very beginning, but nowadays, and I would say even when I went back to Linux in 2010 through Ubuntu, it had everything you needed. I wouldn't say the bare minimum, but if you needed to type up a document, you were given an Office suite of some kind, whether that was Open Office at the time. I don't know if they moved to that naming yet, but it was a very popular non-Microsoft Office suite. It allowed you to type documents, create a spreadsheet. So I started here in KDE with Calligra. I'm sure I can get used to it over time, get used to its navigation and its features, getting where I need to go to do certain things. Like, as you're seeing here, I'm color coding a lot of the results. So I got that. I made sure out of the gate I got my work-related applications installed and ensured they were functioning. It was a little bit tricky getting Firefox to correspond with this software called Screen Connect that my works partner IT uses. Relieved that I got that working, and then I'm slowly building up after instituting multi-library or 32-bit library support. So I got that going as well. Also tracking the components I've added or changed. So I've added the 4 virtual desktops, and I can add more if I wanted. And I also added an activity and my proprietary NVIDIA drivers are not my proprietary, but NVIDIA's proprietary drivers. Notice some things with the built-in NVIDIA driver from Slackware, dubbed Nouveau. Notice that it had a little bit of a quirkiness in the way it made the system behave, graphically speaking, and I would say on a systemic level as well, like when I wanted to reboot. So I got that swapped out for the proprietary driver. Because I'm anticipating wanting to game again here and there. Also, main thing was, how is VirtualBox? Gonna open that. One thing I couldn't do was run VirtualBox and the virtual machine with a standard user. Even with some of the standard things I can do, like put that person or the user into the VBox users group, which creates upon installation. Let's see if I can get this full screen, and apologies for the scaling. There it is. I don't know if I want to play the game like this. We'll see what it looks like. The only thing I found, if I try to enforce that 16:9 aspect, the pixelation does look worse than if I keep it strictly 4:3. So here it goes. See what happens if I full screen this. I'm gonna hit pause it here. Yep, all the things I had to do to get this going properly, and yes, workaround is not the most desired solution, but it's not a bad workaround in my mind because it keeps me my Linux partition. Here I go, I can turn this off, quote unquote. Here it goes. I can close this down. I haven't gone to the full breadth of customization and may walk you through that because it can be overwhelming. Let me go ahead and make sure I save this. Close that down. I honestly don't know what other programs I might need to install. I got my Office suite. Of course, I'm going to install Wine. That's so I can game again with that compatibility layer it provides. Got my browsers installed. Well, it does come with Firefox, but and other browsers. But installed Vivaldi, and I was able to get back to my working mode within a few short days. So that's where I'm at with that, and I'm glad to know that I have a way of making that investment of mine, even though it wasn't too great of an investment. It's not completely to waste, and it does free me from having to go to my my Windows partition more than I need to. I'll go in there if I gotta play a Windows native game to ensure that my gaming experience is up to par. Alright, thanks again, fellow skeptics. Until next video, peace out and catch you all on the other side.